What are some red flags you have seen in your male friends, not relationship partners? Talking shit about my husband, combined with stuff like I know we are just friends haha. But if I was your man, I would treat you so much better. Hahaha. Just hypothetically speaking hahaha. When they speak about their romantic partners, as if they were cars or a home they were interested in purchasing instead of an actual person with feelings of their own who they had feelings for. All women in country think they are too good for men in country. I want a nation woman because they are nice and submissive. Maybe Japanese so she won't be a gold digger like Thai women. Apostrophe. I arranged my GF to go check apartments and she didn't even say thank you. After being told by the GF she wants to handle it herself because it was an important moment in her life. Close bracket. I gave you a hat and gloves for Christmas and my mom went through a lot of trouble to make them and now you're not even wearing the hat. That's pretty insulting. After I told him I don't really wear hats. Well, you don't have to get upset. After I threw him in a ditch. After he kept touching me when I told him not to. All these from the same guy. Sexism. Particularly when it's directed at other women in such a way that he obviously is assuming I'll agree that. Baseless generalization here. When I was much younger I felt special if a guy singled me out as not like other girls, but now it's just gross. He's basically saying girls are terrible. You, despite being a girl, are cool. Apostrophe. My crush on an old childhood friend completely imploded when he told me he thinks it's good for a woman to earn less than a man earns. I asked why, but as expected, the reason was just because. Bye. I have a really good male friend who is lovely with me and is very outspoken as a feminist, but his wife does everything for him. He spends most of his time in one city ostensibly for his career, and that takes up almost all of his money as he has to pay for somewhere to live, and he has a bit of a party lifestyle. She lives elsewhere and raises the kids and earns the money to keep them. He visits his family every other weekend. He sends virtually no money home and could contribute more to the family finances if he took a minimum wage job near where his family lives and his wife works. But he chooses not to, yet he cries about how much he loves and misses his kids. I don't get it. Dismissing sexual assault or harassment. Generally, the same red flags as found in any kind of asshole, but specifically, if a male friend starts to get really cagey/defensive if I ever talk about a guy I'm romantically interested in. That's definitely a red flag that they primarily just care about getting into my pants. The opposite is also true. Oddly enough, if they take too much of an interest in your love life, particularly if you never bring it up, then that's a warning sign for sure. Think 1,000,001 questions about whether you like X type of guys better than Y type of guys. I can't fancy women I respect, and I can't respect women I fancy. It's lizard brain. Don't worry, I respect you. I wouldn't get married. Why would I put my money at risk like that? I've never had a girlfriend, but I expect I'll have kids one day. I wouldn't believe a woman had been raped unless I saw it happening for myself. I know what false accusations feel like. That last one was the final nail. They always defend stranger men for their crimes against women. It doesn't even have to be hardcore siding with other men, but they'll always try to defend their actions. Not believing stories I tell about what it is to be a woman nowadays, or minimizing it. This group of male friends telling that I'm not a real girl or not like the others, which is why they treat me with some respect. Hand checking their buddies who cheated without getting caught. Asking me all annoyed why I have to make myself this pretty for a chill hangout. I don't know, man. Maybe I just feel like it. I had a friend who was always really weird about me being friendly with his girlfriends. Like, he never wanted to hang out with me and his girlfriend together. Got really angry if I ever invited his girlfriend to things we were going to. Basically didn't want us to know each other at all. Took a couple of these girlfriends for me to realize that he liked it when his girlfriend didn't know me, because then he could make them feel insecure that something was going on between us. If they had got to know me, they would know immediately that I was no threat at all to them and their relationship at all, and he'd have less control over them. It was gross, and I cut contact pretty quickly once it realized. Not letting me enjoy dancing with his ex, which he cheated. She is our mutual friend, and he got mad over me enjoying partying with her. The first red flag I'm always on the lookout for are their behavior during moments of inebriety. The friends who claim to be feminists and very supportive of women empowerment were the first ones to prey on me during these moments. I had a guy friend whom I spent nights with and trusted the most tell me that a guy I liked was lucky BC he would be able to duck me lol. It doesn't also help when they're overly touchy. I'm a clingy person, but some of them would turn that chance to their advantage to sexually harass you, which also happened to an old friend of mine. Women and men can be friends, but because of my experiences with men prior, I've cut most of them off. I have only 2 male best friends who have never preyed on me, and I really trust them. Pretty much broke up with me because I didn't feel comfortable sleeping in the same bed as him when he visited. I offered to sleep on an air mattress and he would take the bed. He didn't want that either. He had to sleep in the same bed as me. I think people wanting to see trans people in video games is ridiculous. Stop making video games political. All lives matter, not just black ones. I think it's okay to make racist comments as long as there's not a person of color present to hear it. Only texted me if he wanted to discuss a negative aspect of our friendship, except during a small period when there was a prospect of dating me. There are definitely good memories I have with him, but I'm also happy to not be dealing with him anymore. One of my friends, who I really do care about, had struggled with a bad childhood, poverty, and depression, but is doing great now and got a great new job and is thriving. But he's still deposed and he's just waiting for the right woman to come along or fill the void in his soul. I think it's ducked up to expect that from anyone. That's a lot of pressure on one person. I hate when men complain to me about their mental health but won't do it with an actual therapist. Not realizing that dating leagues are a thing. It almost always is a sign of overall entitlement. It just reeks of ill-aligned expectations. And yet the real red flag is dismissing women's standards as shallow. I know far too many men who are too anxious to leave the house, play games as their only hobby, are out of shape and don't put effort into their appearance, and yet insist that they want a GF that's thin, pretty, is totally fine with dates that are just watching movies because anything more is shallow. Earns well but doesn't care about money. My friend keeps leaving jobs for no apparent reason. He has 3 kids, a wife and ex-wife. He has not held a job for more than a month in 6 years. He is currently chilling at his mother's farm and constantly quarrels with his mother. Boy, do I have a good one. Amongst many other red flags, which I chose to ignore for some reason. The one that really got me was when my best guy friend was preparing to open a cafe. As a favor, I translated 11 pages worth of menu explanations for free, having been promised that I will get free coffee for eternity. I've paid for all my drinks so far, but what did I get for my birthday present? A free drink. Oh, and the English menu was never printed. My neighbor and very good friend told me I would look prettier if I covered my arms. Always. I was 14. Later, he had impregnated his GF, early 20s both. They took a trip with some friends, and the GF found him and her best friend together in the shower. GF disappeared and he never saw that child. Obviously, we're not friends anymore. They have this mentality that you owe them something, always expect to get something out of the situation. The way they speak about potential dates and the way they speak about their friends and family. Lack of willingness to put in the work to self-improve. I know a lot of tetchy dudes living in my town, and while they are often perfectly decent guys, they expect really amazing women to fall in their lap because they make decent money and have an apartment. You gotta bring a little more effort and interest to the table if you want someone wonderful. Doing some rescue training while blindfolded. The person behind me, who is also blindfolded, accidentally touched my breasts. A friend who is known to have a crush on me berated me for not doing anything and allowing it to happen. Jealousy. Being bad with money. not reflecting past behavior, running headfirst into red flags, mental illnesses, history of cheating, dishonesty, not communicating. Ones who believe in MGTOW and red pill values. I stopped hanging out with a friend who spoke about how he and his friends knew their guy friend was cheating on his fiancé. They all went to the wedding and nobody told her she was being cheated on. I stopped hanging with him immediately. Also many guy friends. I just don't think rape culture is as pervasive as women say a guy should have a say in abortion etc. Comment: I still remember word for word in high school. I'd never rape you. Mothzale. I respect you too much. Apostrophe. Bro, you shouldn't rape anyone regardless of how much respect you do or not have for them. Oh man. I usually make pretty good decisions about the friends that I make, but oh boy. This one guy who I consider the closest friend, we've known each other for 6 to 7 years now, has a freeloader, has me pay for everything, if and when we go out, has a pathological liar. I suspect. Once, out of guilt, he confessed to me that he forcibly had sex with a woman and continued to harass her to come back to him. I straight up walked out of the room where I was in when I heard this. Hez also extremely disgusting and continues to probe me about BJs and sexual activities, which I wouldn't want to share with him. I've decided to cut him off really. I sent her good morning and good night texts every day and she still won't respond. What the hell? Apostrophe. I laughed in his face until I realized he was being serious. Then I laughed harder, saying things such as that's a man's job. Let me help you out when it's something I'm fully capable of doing on my own. Or being put in a group assignment with male friends who very quickly minimize my opinions and side with their other male friends in the group. Thinking rape/sexual assault jokes were funny, ignoring my requests to please not make those kinds of jokes when I'm present or texting you. Being angry that the guy they were interested in was not reciprocating their feelings/was dating a woman and kept making dark jokes about what he'd do for attention. Complaining that it's not fair women have it easy and can just cry their way out of anything. Insisting that women have it way easier because we get to take maternity leave and can pretend to have period cramps to get out of stuff. Always had an excuse why everything that went wrong was someone else's fault. It was traffic. My boss did this. My ex did that etc. On and on. Very much overly concerned about his arm muscle size. Constantly flexing or standing in ways to appear larger in otherwise normal situations. Fixated on women half his age, but then very offended when people innocently assume he was their father. One post on social media had me laughing so hard. He posted a picture of his new girl with just a comment saying he was having lunch with a pretty girl. Several people who know him said they couldn't believe how big his daughter had gotten. They hadn't seen her in years. Things like, oh, is that your oldest girl? Truly not meant to offend. His panties got full twisted. I had a thing with my ex when we were drunk at a party. He was technically again dating, or like involved with one of my best friends. It was stupid for both of us. But my best friend forgave us, and even dated my ex for a while after. The male friend in question said only my ex was to blame for it. No, we were two consenting adults. We both decided to do what we did. My ex did not seduce me or something like that. We were both to blame. Not only him. That really threw me off. I had a friend in high school that used to put the girls in the friend group into categories of ones he would date, duck or just be mates with. Came out one night when he was really drunk. Never been so happy to be somebody a person wouldn't hook up with. It was so creepy that had been our friend for years and yet thought that shit about it. He also used to talk so much shit about the girls in the group that used to have casual hookups. My boyfriend and I shared mutual guy friends in college, and whenever he wasn't around they would always hit on me when they got drunk. Not all of them, but a select few. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.